Hello, good morning students. Today we are going to start ninth chapter of geography, that is tourism, transport and communication. So in this chapter we are going to see the tourism in Brazil as well as in India, transportation and communication. So in our ninth standard we have seen that our in India heritage sites are more natural as well as cultural. So tourism industry is well flourished in our country. Brazil, in the Brazil also tourism industry is developed, and because of this tourism industry, economic condition of the country is growing. Tourism contribute in the development of economical condition of the country also. So first we will start the lesson. On the basis of the things you know about Brazil, make a list of places in Brazil you would like to visit. Which factors characteristics of Brazil make it a good tourist place? What types of tourism will be developed here? Discuss with your friends and show the classification. So here see students, as we from first chapter till the eighth chapter we have studied many things about Brazil. So here one question is raised, that if you want to go for tour in Brazil, then which places would you like to go? So you have to give the name, and then afterwards what type of tourism will be developed in the Brazil, that also you have to say. Then afterwards we have to discuss in the class. Here one line graph is shown. This graph we have to study and answer the following questions. So see, there are two lines, pink line and blue line. Blue line represent the number of international tourists in Brazil, and pink line number of international tourists in India. So see, on x axis years are given, and on y axis the number of international tourists in lakhs are given. Now study the graph and answer the following questions. Question number 1. Which country attracted more international tourists in the year 1995? So see here, in the year 1995 we have to identify which country attracts more international tourists. So blue line represent Brazil and pink line representing India. So blue line is down and pink line is up. So that's why we can say here India attracted more international tourists in the year 1995. Next question. In which country did more international tourists arrive in the year 2000? So now we will study the year 2000. Of course blue line is upside, so that's why Brazil, that is the answer, means Brazil attracted more international tourists in the year 2000. Now next question. In which year can an increase be seen in the number of international tourists in India? So here see, in India, in the year, if you will see the graph, in the year 2010, that year we can say that the international tourist has increased. Last question is given, last but one, that what was the number of the international tourists in the year 2015 in both the countries? What was the difference between them? So see here, we have to study this by the following graph. So here what they are showing us, here they are, we can see the simple way. So what was the number of the international tourists in the year 2015? 2015 if we will call, then in the Brazil it is coming to the near about 60 lakh, and in India it is going 130 lakh. So we have to take out the difference. So difference is coming of 70 lakhs. Now last question they are asking, what could be the reason of increase in the tourist in India after the year 2010? So see, first thing is that many facilities are provided to the tourist. So increased facility, that could be the one reason, and another that professional outlook of the country, that is the another reason for the increased tourism. Now we will study about the tourism in Brazil first. Clean white sand beaches, attractive sea coast, beautiful island, orchard, deep dense forest of Amazon, various birds and animals attracts lots of international tourists here. The new capital city of Brasilia is also a tourist attraction. Cities like Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo are largest city which attracts lots of tourists. So now see students, here first thing we have to study that how is the nature of Brazil. If you will see, then you will find the clean white sand beaches are there, and then attractive sea coast is also available in the Brazil. Beautiful islands are there in the Brazil, orchard, dense forest, these all the things, various types of birds and animals, these all the things attract lots of international tourism. Again, the new capital city, new capital is Brasilia. So Brasilia also is a tourist attraction. There every year many international tourists visit. Now see, again the two cities like Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo, that two cities also very popular, means it is also the good tourist attraction place. Tourism is an important economic activity in several regions in the country. So tourism, it is playing very vital role to develop the economical graph of the country. Looking at the sensitivity of the natural resources in Brazil, ecotourism is developing at a faster rate in Brazil. So see, to protect, to conserve and preserve the natural heritage sites, cultural heritage sites, ecotourism is developing in every country. Same in the Brazil also. To preserve these natural resources, ecotourism is developing. Now again another thing. Here one graph has given in the figure 9.2. We have to study the graph and we have to answer the questions. So see, first here on the y-axis percentage is given, and on the x-axis two color shades are there, dark blue and red color. So dark blue color, it is representing the percentage of population engaged in tourism, both the countries, India's and Brazil's, and red color it is showing contribution of the tourism in GDP. So GDP in Brazil as well as in India. Now we will try to give the answers by studying the graph. What type of graph is shown here? So children, we have to name the graph. This graph is called line graph, and this graph is called compound graph. So next question is asked that what does the graph show? So this graph is showing us the percentage of population engaged in tourism in India, percentage of population engaged in tourism in Brazil. Next answer, contribution in tourism, contribution of tourism in GDP of Brazil and contribution of tourism in GDP in India, both the countries that you have to say, and here percentage also shown. Now next, which countries tourism has a largest share in the contribution towards the GDP? Now we have to see this red line. So this is representing Brazil country. So Brazil countries tourism has larger share in the contribution towards the GDP. Next question they ask, which country has a larger population engaged in the tourism? So blue color, it represents the population engaged in tourism. So India will be the answer because India's graph is higher. Now geographical explanation. As shown in figure 9.1, the number of international tourists visiting India in 2015 is more than that of Brazil. So 2015 we can see that more tourists they attracted towards the India. So even though this is true, the share of tourism sector in the GDP is less than that of Brazil. We are having international tourists more, but then also if we will see GDP contribution, so there our country it is contribution is less. Apart from this, the proportion of Indian population engaged in tourism proportion is higher than Brazil. This is primarily dependent on the size of the population of those countries and the size of the GDP. See figure 9.2. According to this, population of India is more than Brazil, and so its GDP. So children, here they are saying us, if number of people engaged in the tourism is more in India and tourism is well developed in India, then also why the contribution in GDP is less of tourism? So answer is that population. As our country size is big, population is big, so that's why though the tourism is developed, but then also its GDP, if we'll compare with the Brazil, then our GDP is less. As the GDP of India is higher than Brazil, and so also its population, therefore the contribution of tourism to GDP appears lesser than Brazil, and population engaged seems higher. So here again they are explaining further that though Brazil India's GDP is less and Brazil GDP is higher, but if you'll see the population in Brazil is very less and India's population is high, so that is the reason for the contribution of the tourism to GDP appears less in India and more in Brazil. Now next, India. Tourism in India we will study. It is seen in the figure 9.1 that the number of international tourists in India is constantly growing, but this increase appears to be more after 2010. We have seen the line graph. In that line graph, it has clearly shown after the 2010 international tourist is increased in our country, and already we have seen in that line graph that both the countries tourism year wise. So from the 2010 we have seen the rapid development or rapid growth in the international tourism. The increase in the number of international tourists is consistent. Foreign tourists visit India for heritage, adventure, culture, health and business tourism. Ecotourism is also being given boost in India. So sorry, the number of international tourists is constantly increasing. It is means after 2010 it is constant, but there are several reasons behind that. Here they are saying that many types of tourism is developed in India. The tourists which comes to our country, they are coming for for enjoying the heritage sites, to enjoy the adventure, culture, for health purpose, business tourism. There are many types of tourism. So with various purpose, the tourists are entering to our country. Again, ecotourism is also developing in our country. It is also giving a boost. Ecotourism means what? To enjoy the beauty of the nature but without harming. We have to conserve it. So considering the heritage of India, there are plenty of opportunities for tourism in many parts of the country. Many places are being developed for this. So see, in the tourism industry, there are number of job opportunities are available. Employment is getting to the local people. So many places are being developed for this purpose. Now some tourist sites of India and Brazil. Children, see, Gateway of India. So this is the tourist place in India. Next is given beaches at Rio de Janeiro. So here see, you can see the white beaches here. White sand is available there. So clean and good view. Next is given here Brazil, marine tourism. Next, Ajanta caves, Ajanta and Ellora caves. See here, every year international tourists are arriving to see that place. Then here football stadium at Manas. Then Guwahati, Assam. So these all are the tourist attraction places. Now children, here we have completed the tourism and transportation we have to start. So transportation we will start tomorrow. I hope you understood this. Thank you very much.